Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Football Fignuts podcast. This is episode number 261 overall, but if you've been keeping track on the season, it's season 6, episode 22. I'm Britt.
I'm Craig.
And Craig, I am back from my COVID
You're back.
exposure slash
Welcome,
infection.
welcome back. How you feeling?
I better today. Today's actually been the best day I felt. My energy level kind of fluctuates crazy. My wife
Yep.
has it now. She's asymptomatic, thank God, but she's also experiencing it. So,
Yep.
but I'm happy to be back. I'm excited to be here. And for those people who are clever enough to follow me on Twitch, which is Howard Moon BG, one word, Howard Moon BG, you're getting a live look at the recording of this podcast right now. So that's great. So people who are tuned into this, we do this once or twice a year. We do a live recording session on my Twitch. So we're doing that today too. So there we are. But I'm getting ahead of myself. We got to start where we always start. Craig, what are you drinking today?
So today for our brunch podcast, because it is
Yeah,
11:36 a.m.
we're recording early because we're both off from work this week.
Yes, I have two things. Well, three, but I'm not really counting the water. I do have a mug of coffee, but I also have some homemade coquito with rum.
Okay, I have no idea what coquito is. I've heard the term before. You
It
gotta
is
educate me
it
here.
is basically Puerto Rican eggnog made with coconut, like milk instead
Oh.
of like milk, and rum
Oh. Oh.
and cinnamon.
Cinnamon.
But
For your what's that?
I say no, but a friend of mine makes it, so she like sells food during Christmas, so I buy some.
Cinnamon has to be said that way for our C Lab enthusiasts.
It
So,
does. It does.
um, I am because it is only 11:30 in the morning. I have coffee and a glass of Diet Coke over here, because I've been yesterday I started streaming. I was playing Warcraft for a while online, and I said I'm gonna have a beer. And the next thing I knew, it was like 2 hours later, and I looked down and there were 4 empty cans at my feet, and I went, oh shit. And
Hey,
half an hour
maybe
later,
that helps you feel better today.
maybe it did. Half an hour later, I was passed out on the couch. And that's one of the things I've learned. I have to be very mindful of my drinking when I stream because I sit here and I just sip on stuff whenever I stream anything. And if that something is beer, all of a sudden it's like 2 hours later and you're averaging a full 12 or 16 ounce beer in every 30 minutes. It's not good. So, all right. So burning hot takes. Let's just move right on to burning hot takes. I haven't been here for a while, so giving or receiving, your choice.
You know what? You haven't been here for a while, so I will receive.
Okay. So obviously the big news this week was the firing of Nathaniel Hackett. And when I say big news, that means news to him. Um, Denver has been woeful. Russell Wilson has been terrible, like
Terrible.
hardcore terrible, like terrible level terrible. Um, Craig, what does Denver have to do at this point to get back on track? I mean, they've tried everything. They've brought in guys. They tried drafting guys. Um, they seem to be able to establish the run game in short spurts. I don't know what the franchise needs to do to get right at this point. So my question to you is, what does this franchise need to do? They've replaced coaches. They've replaced key players. They've used free agency. They have used the draft. They can't seem to get it right. What do they need to do?
I think right now where they're at, they need someone who has been a head coach before. They tried going the coordinator route, which clearly did not work. Because
Hmm.
again, like we've said before, going from a coordinator job to a head coach job is not easy at all,
Right.
and a lot of people struggle heavily with it, as you can see. So I really think they need to find a head coach who has experience being a head coach and has been through like a rebuild process. So
That's
I
it.
think
That's the key.
that's where Elway has to start.
That's the key. Rebuild. There are coaches who are good builders, and there are coaches who are good um,
Managers, yeah,
winners.
yeah.
Like for example, when I think about building a championship team, the first name that comes to my mind is Bill Parcells
Yeah.
because he basically took for every think about it, the Giants, the Jets, and the Patriots. not so much the Cowboys. He tried with the Cowboys, but even they still got better off of the picks he made. I mean, don't forget, he's the guy who brought Tony Romo in.
Right.
All of these teams went from out of the playoffs, secondhand thoughts, to in the playoffs and eventually world champions, with the exception of the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
So there's something to be said. Well, and the Cowboys again. So I mean, he basically took the Giants from mediocrity into the championships of the '80s. He goes to New England and does the exact. So he goes to the Jets, builds them into a playoff contender and leaves. Then goes to the Patriots, builds them into a playoff contender, hands the reins off to Bill Belichick, and the rest is history. They need a builder coach, and they're not a dime a dozen, and they're hard to find. Another great builder coach, one who's active right now, Andy Reid. He built Philly
Yep.
and
He
couldn't
just
get over
had
the hump with Philly.
nope. Well, no, did he? He wait.
They made a Super Bowl, but they lost it.
That's right. That's what I was thinking of.
And they lost like 2 out of 3 NFC championships that he took them to.
Mm-hmm.
So you're right. I think this is you. I think you really have hit something on the head there. The missing piece is a builder, and you need a head coach, general manager combo that can build that right franchise. And it's pretty clear. I think Elway is not the builder that they want him to be.
Nope.
Yeah, I think Denver needs to just clear out the entire front office
So,
at this point.
so like a side question.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna throw out two names, and who do you think would make more sense in Denver?
Okay.
Jim Harbaugh or
Mm-hmm.
Sean Payton, who has also been rumored to go to the Cowboys.
Peyton.
Like, if they don't make playoffs or fail the
Peyton.
playoffs. Payton.
Peyton, easy. Harbaugh is a college coach. The end.
Did he ever coach in the NFL?
Yes, he was the coach of the 49ers.
Oh, that's right. Then he left.
Yes. He
I
may
was
have had somewhere
well. His
else, too.
brother's been in Baltimore forever, so
John is, and he's more of a builder than Jim is, but I think John's an above average. So, let's see, as a player, as a coach, he was a quarterback coach in Oakland. He was a head coach of San Diego. He was.
he was. It's hard to keep track of coaches.
San Diego, the charge. No, that San Diego might be university. Oh yeah, that's San Diego. That's University of San Diego. Okay. Then he went to Stanford. Had great success at Stanford. Then he went to the 49ers. He was at the 49ers from 2011 to 2014. He's been in Michigan ever since.
I mean, all you have to do in college is win a bowl game, and you're set for life. So,
I mean, so I'm looking at his Wikipedia page and the career highlights and awards. As a head coach, NFC Championship in 2012. Yes, they won the NFC Championship. He was the NFL Coach of the Year in 2011. That's it for NFL. So Coach of the Year, and then won the NFC Championship. As a college coach, 2 Big Ten championships, 3 times Big Ten East Division champion. Twice he was the Pioneer League champion when he was in San Diego. He was AP Coach of the Year in 2021. He was the Big Ten Coach of the Year in 2022. Some guys are better in college. Jim Harbaugh is better in college. So the answer to me is absolutely Sean Payton. Go ahead. Let's treat this as your burning hot take there, your follow-up question. What do you think?
I kind of agree with you because Sean Payton was a coach of the Saints when was it? From 2006 to 2022. So just that alone, experience-wise, like surpasses Jim. And
Yeah.
I think that's something the Broncos really need.
Oh, breaking news. ESPN, Mike McDaniel of the Dolphins has just told reporters that Tua Tagovailoa suffered a concussion on Sunday, which Craig called like 3 days ago.
He needs to stop playing. In all seriousness.
What he needs to do is treat these as serious issues, and his team needs to treat it as serious issues. Excuse me. The freaking Dolphins have a rub some dirt on it mentality that, listen, no player is ever going to come out of a game voluntarily. I've seen it once in my entire life. One time. When I was in high school and I was the statistician for our varsity baseball team. That's right, I didn't play. I was a statistician. I'm a fat asshole. What do you want from me? But in our championship game, our best pitcher, who had pitched the day before, got sent to warm up. And 2 minutes later, the assistant coach comes down the thing, and our head coach looks at him and goes, "Is Seth ready?" And the coach shook his head and said, Seth says he does not have it. And he went, what? And he said, Seth says he doesn't feel right throwing. He must be because he threw yesterday. Our head coach gets out of the dugout, walks down, gone for 30 seconds, comes back into the dugout, and sends somebody else to go warm up. It's the only time I've ever seen an athlete actively go to a coach and say, I can't help us today. And good for him for doing it. That's the problem. Tua's never going to do that. Tua's never going to stand up and go, listen, I don't feel right.
I know, and like
So
we're like on that play, his head bounced off the ground, and no one, like, you're telling me nobody noticed?
Where's the spotter?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. Where's the person who's supposed to be watching him in the
Where's
stands?
the freaking spotter? And who hires that spotter? Where was this game? Oh, that's right. It was in Miami, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So Miami's responsible, I believe, for having the spotter on field, or the Players Association is responsible for it. The same people who just fired the last concussion expert because they missed a concussion on Tua 3 or 4 weeks ago. It's disgusting to me. They've got to. I don't think he has to stop playing yet, but yes, something has to change, and it's not going to change with the player. It's just not. They don't care. They think they're invulnerable. They're 25 years old. They think the world is their oyster. They are not going to be the one that says, you got to take me out of a game. You have to have cooler heads prevail here. And that's the idea behind the concussion protocol if you fucking use it.
If you use it. It's a big if.
That's it. That's the problem. That's the problem. All right, what else you got for me? Have you got another topic for me, or am I tossing out the next one?
I have another quick one for you.
Go for it. Do it, because I kind of usurped a lot of time there.
Yeah, you're good. So I'm looking at the current rankings to win the Super Bowl.
Uh-huh.
All right. And in this ranking, there are... let me scroll. There are 8 teams. Nope, 9 teams. Sorry. I'm going to give you the bottom 4, and you tell me who is most... Out of the bottom 4, who's most likely to win the Super Bowl.
Okay.
All right. So right now, ranked number 9 is the Vikings.
Uh-huh.
Ranked number 8 is the Packers, who technically are still in a playoff hunt.
Uh-huh.
Next would be the Chargers. Next at 7. And then at 6 would be the Cowboys. So out of those bottom teams on this list, who do you think would have the best shot out of those 4?
Today, on December 28th, 2022?
Yes.
Wow.
Right?
Would have to be the Packers. I can't trust the Vikings. I can't trust the Vikings. Yes, they've only lost 3 games this year, but
they're paper dragging, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Do you know what their net points are? They're so points for minus points against. How many points you've outscored your net points is +5.
That's it.
That's it. That is it. The Philadelphia Eagles, their net is 137. The Dallas Cowboys, their net is 131. The Minnesota Vikings are 5.
Damn. And they're, what are they, 12-4? Something?
12-3.
12-3.
12 and 5 plus 5. That's it. The only person who's worse as a division leader is Tampa because they're 7-8. They're -38.
Damn.
5. You're 12-3. You have locked up your division. And of the teams that have locked up their division, they have the worst net points. The Eagles haven't locked up their division. The Eagles have only locked up a playoff spot because the Cowboys are only a game behind with 2 to play. But the Niners have locked up the division. So have the Vikings. 5 is the number. That's disgusting. Disgusting. So I'm going to say Green Bay. Green Bay's coming on. I'm not going to call them to do this, but if you're telling me those are my 4 choices, I have no faith in the Chargers. I watched this week.
I know you warned everyone. I thought the Chargers were better as a whole.
I thought they were going to be better as a whole too. I thought they were going to seriously challenge the Chiefs for the division, and it never materialized. I also thought their offense was going to be more prolific. We're talking about net points. The net points for the Chargers is -11.
Oh my God, really?
They have given up 343 points and only scored 332. That's a -11.
Damn.
They have as many losses at home as they have on the road, and they're 2-3 in the division.
Yeah.
It's now. Well, they've won 3 in a row. Shit, that's nice. They're gonna need to win. They've clinched a playoff spot.
I mean, they barely beat the Colts.
Yes.
I mean, they won 23, but I didn't think they played very well.
I
as
mean,
a whole.
looking at the current playoff structure, if
Look.
things held true today,
Mm-hmm.
they would be the 6th seed. So that
Hmm.
would mean they would have to play the Bengals. No, wait,
Huh.
is that right?
No. Is it?
7 teams make it, right? Yes.
Yes.
So the Dolphins would have to go to Kansas City. The Bengals would host the Chargers, and then Jacksonville would host the Ravens.
That's bonkers.
Because Jacksonville right now is leading that division. Is that right?
Yeah,
Oh my God.
Jacksonville has won games like subtly, but they've won.
Jacksonville has the tiebreaker over Tennessee.
Yeah, Tennessee has
What?
Derrick Henry
They
and
have lost
statement.
5 straight. There was a point in time this season where the Tennessee Titans were 7-3.
Yep.
That is insane to me. Insane. Don't sleep on the Jags.
No, do not do that.
Don't
They're,
sleep on. They've won 3 in a row, and they look like they're an up and coming team. Are they going to be up and coming enough to like do something? Probably not. Could they beat the Ravens at home? Maybe.
yes. Without Lamar, I think they can.
Yeah, I think that's a definite possibility. I would not be happy with the Dolphins coming to Kansas City. I'll tell you that right now. I would
No?
not be happy.
In
No,
January? No?
don't care. Don't care. We
Hmm.
need. That's where this bye. Let them go to the Bills. Let
Again.
them go to the Bills. I need the Bengals. Bengals beat the Bills this week out, and the Chiefs just win out. That's all I need to have happen. That's all I need to have happen is your Bengals to show up this week, and then the Bengals and Bills can fight for.
It could
for Houston.
happen. I'm worried about the offensive line injury because of Buffalo's pass rush. But
Well, you should be.
other than that,
All right,
yeah.
let's move on from burning hot takes. My God, my COVID brain. What's next on our normal agenda?
If you
America's
still want to
favorite
do
game?
it, if you still want to do it, the good, bad, and ugly.
Oh, good, bad, and ugly. I haven't
you're in
even
the mood.
thought about it.
If you're in the mood for
All
it.
right, let's do it. So the good, the bad, and the ugly. Where Craig and I look back at the previous week. See, this COVID brain is real, man. I'm telling
It
you.
is. It is.
I've been so fuzzy the last week. Like
Oh,
I looked
yeah.
at my wife. You know what? So before we went on to the good, bad, and the ugly. So
Okay.
first off, finish the intro, you idiot. Good, bad, and the ugly. Craig and I look at the last week that was. We pick out one thing that was really good, one thing that was really bad, and one thing that was downright ugly in either the games or fantasy. So we'll do that in a second. Yesterday, I looked at my wife and I said, and I cannot believe you're gonna know this reference in a minute. When I say it, I looked at my
Yeah.
wife and I went, "Is today Tuesday?" And I immediately thought of poor Ralph Wilson, like 15 years ago, the guy who, with the owner of the Bills who passed away, who once opened a press conference by saying, "Thank you for coming out here on a Wednesday." Wait, is today Wednesday? And I remember mocking him, going, "You don't even know what day of the week it is, old man." I don't know what day of the week it is, and he's got 30 years on me at that point. And I owe an apology to the ghost of Ralph Wilson. So
Yeah,
all right,
COVID
so
brain's real.
good, bad, and the ugly. I'm just gonna look at the scores from last
yeah.
week and kind of
Go
go
for
off
it.
of that. So all right, so why don't you lead us out then? Tell me what was your good from week 16.
See, this is a little bit. This is like a little combo kind of thing because it's borderline bad. But I was very in it. I know they were playing the Patriots, and I'm sorry, Cinch, but I was very impressed that the Bengals took such an early lead in that game because they're not generally a first half team,
Mm-hmm.
which is what kind of I think led to the second half of that game because I don't think they really knew what to do with a lead that big.
Mm-hmm.
But the good is them showing they can take leads in the first half of games, which is nice to see.
For me, the good was teams that haven't quit. Teams that are bad, that know they're bad, and still haven't quit. And there's 2 of them that come to mind right away this past week, and they are the Steelers. Actually, it's 3. The Steelers, who beat the Raiders.
Yep.
The Texans, who beat the Titans to get their second win of the season.
Yep.
And then where's the other one? Oh, and the Saints that beat the Browns. These are all teams with 7 or fewer wins this late in the season. Most teams would be playing for draft positioning. These 3 teams came out there and said, "Nope, we're not quitting." So that was my good this year. Was there's still competition, even in bad teams. So bad. Okay. The Titans just lost to the Texans.
Yes.
The Titans look like they have no clue what's going on anymore, and that to me is just bad. I mean, I don't even know what to make of it. It's just bad. The Tennessee Titans are bad. What do you got for bad this week?
For bad this week is another team for me. It's the stupid Raiders, and I know I've said this several times this season, but dear God,
Hmm.
how do you go? And I guess the Titans are in the same category. How do you go from the playoffs last year to having almost the exact same team again with upgrades? Only difference is a head coach, and you're terrible,
Yep.
absolutely terrible. I don't get it. And now they're talking about benching Carr. Their entire offense is terrible. I don't think it's Carr's fault.
So before we knew my wife was positive, we had her family over on Christmas Eve. I was masked. I stayed away from everybody. I drank heavily. It was a good time.
As one does.
That's what we do. Oh my God, I can't wait to the shirt I'm wearing to Bro Years this year, by the way. My
Mm.
wife bought me a gorgeous Kansas City pullover, like quarter zip. It's like a fancy long sleeve polo, but it's quarter zip at the
Oh.
top. When I put it on and I put my headset on, I look like a coach.
Nice.
It is that fancy
We're
of a
gonna
shirt. I can't wait to show you that.
nice.
But I
Nice.
had to just distract you. So okay, yeah. So anyway, I was talking to my brother-in-law, who is a massive Jets fan, and he is thrilled with what they've done this year. He's
Yeah.
like, I
Mm.
no, no.
Really?
All right, so hear him out. Hear him out.
All right.
This is a team that nobody thought was going to do anything.
Right.
They're on the verge of a playoff. They're still in the playoff run. How
They
often is
are.
the Jets still in the conversation going with 2 weeks left in the season?
It is rare. It is rare.
Very rare. So they're still in the conversation. Their defense has shown great improvement. The
Hmm.
rookies have shown a lot of promise. Brees Hall, he loves Brees Hall. I'm
Yep.
drawing a blank on the wide receiver's name.
Garrett Wilson.
Thank you. He loves Garrett Wilson, and he looks at me and he goes, "We just need a quarterback."
Yes.
And I said to him, I said, "So are you going to draft?" He said, "No." He said, "I think there's good free agents out there." And I said, "I agree." I said, "There's a bunch of guys who are looking for another home." He goes, "You know who I would love to get?" And I said, "Tell me." And he said, "Derek Carr." He said, "I think if you put Derek Carr on the New York Jets, they're a playoff team."
Uh, I mean, he is managed. He's not terrible. He's better than
He,
what they have. Is he better
he's,
than
but
White?
that's
I don't
it.
know yet.
He's an upgrade.
He is.
He's an upgrade. But that's like saying this moldy cheese that I'm going to throw away. Oh, here's a block of feet flavored cheese, and that's an upgrade. So that's an old inside joke, feet flavored cheese. That's a call out to Tom. By the way, hi Deb. But yeah, so he's looking at Derek Carr and saying, "Yeah, go ahead and get rid of Derek Carr. Go ahead. I will give him a home in New York." And I think there's going to be a couple guys in those positions. I think there's going to be a couple guys. Mike White is going to be a free agent. The Jets should not re-sign Mike White.
I think it's going to depend on how he does the next 2 weeks. Really.
Don't re-sign that dude. You did not find the new Tom Brady in Mike White. You just didn't. So, all right, what do you got for ugly this week? I got a
Ugly.
bad feeling it's gonna be the same thing. I think we're gonna have a crazy feel. I'm gonna. All right, you're not watching my stream right now, are you?
No, just I have it on so you have a viewer, but I'm not watching it.
Okay, I appreciate that. So I'm gonna open and highlight the team. It's a team. I'm gonna warn you right now. All right, on my screen. See if you go to the same place I am. My ugly is now on my screen. Let's see what you got.
Really, my ugly this week is the two fantasy teams I manage.
Oh, that's sad.
Because it was terrible. I was in the playoffs for 2 leagues, and our home league I lost to our friend Mario by 40 points.
Mario's really
Um,
good though.
but I know what's silly is I've beaten him like the last 5 or 6 times we've played, and I relied on Devonte Adams and Josh Jacobs to get me like 30 points, and they got me 11 combined. So that was a little painful, admittedly. But the bigger thing is in the other X work league I'm in. I was in a playoff and I lost. You want to know how much I lost by?
How much?
0.53.
Oh,
I was
half a
winning that
point.
game because I did have Keenan Allen in. I was winning until the Chargers, thank you, let Michael Pittman get a pointless catch on fourth down, and
Oh,
that put him over. And then my running backs, I had 4 running backs. I had Murray in; he got me 6.5 points. Raheem Mostert, who was supposed to be the next giant thing in Miami, he got me 3.9 points.
yeah.
And Radamore, Stevenson, Ramon, damn it,
Ramondre.
Ramondre, thank you. Stevenson, he did nothing and got me 2.3 points. While the guy on my bench, because let's face it, I have 4 running backs. I started 3 of them. We all know no matter who I benched would have a better day. So, Rashid White, he got me 13 points. So if I had him in, I would have won. But yes, I lost by half a point, and it was very annoying.
Yeah, those are the worst kind of losses. I'm only in 2 playoffs of the 6 leagues, and I'm in the finals. I'm sorry, I'm alive in 2 of the 6. And one of them is our work league, which is big money. So I'm kind of excited about that. Sean, our contributor, was supposed to be the guy the other side of me, but then Justin Herbert decided to be Justin Herbert this week. And this league penalizes for sacks. So he gets a -4.
That's weird.
Yes, it's a very unique rule. It's something they argue about every year. Our commissioner is very set on it. It is why in the end of the first round, I drafted Patrick Mahomes. Because Mahomes does not get sacked unless his pocket completely collapses around him. He gets like 2 sacks a game, maybe. But he has games where he doesn't get sacked at all because he scrambles so damn much. And I just was like, that's the kind of player I need. I need somebody who's not going to stand in the pocket and take sacks. And Herbert took a ton of sacks. So, anyway. Oh, crap. Work emails coming in. Ugh, on my time off. All right, my ugly, and where I thought Craig was going to go, is the Indianapolis Colts.
Oh, yeah, they're also terribly bad.
This team is so hard to watch. It is so hard to watch. Who did they blow it to this week? I'm looking. Hold on.
The Chargers.
The Chargers. I mean, just so bad. Nick Foles, really? You're looking for an offensive spark, and your choice to get an offensive spark was Nick Foles?
He did win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, he did. Like what feels like 1,000 years ago.
Him and Flacco. They both won Super Bowls.
And Trent Dilfer. We'll do an episode during the offseason. Make a mental note. We want to do the worst quarterbacks to ever win a Super Bowl, and we'll do that. But I can't even watch the Colts anymore. It's just so bad. It is so bad. But all right, let's move on to the metric. Not the metric. The America's favorite game. We're gonna make this quick this week because there's only 2 games that are of note.
Oh.
One is under 40, and one is over 50. So you're only gonna get 3 strikes, and you've got to tell me the one game that's under 40 and the one game that's over 50. So do you want to start with the high one, or do you want to start with the low one?
Let's go with the over.
Okay, so we're looking for the one that's over 50. There is one game. Take your shot.
All right. Tied in my head between 2, so...
Well, tell us both.
I'm going to go with Bills at the Bengals.
And what's the other one you got in your head?
It's my default, the Chief in Denver.
Okay, but you're going with Bills Bengals.
I'm going with that one first, yes.
That's a strike. Bills Bengals is incorrect. Hold on, let me double check that.
Really? That's shocking.
Okay, work league. Work, you have to stop emailing me. I'm in the middle of a podcast here. Okay, why I have to authenticator. Hello? What the hell is going on today? Okay, so I'm pretty sure that's... Oh, there it is. Okay, my DraftKings is not cooperating right now. I'm in the middle of a podcast. Please cooperate. There it is. No, that's the wrong code. Wow, what is going on DraftKings right now?
Is it broken?
I don't know. It looks it. Wow, the verification codes are not coming in.
Oh, I have to do it. When I do it, I have to do it twice. Or else I don't get any. It's very annoying. The other fun thing is if you use FanDuel.
There we go.
Since, if you use FanDuel, they have to also send you a code. So since I'm on an iPhone, it knows that it's sending you a code. So a little thing pops up and I just tap it. Sometimes on FanDuel, they like to put a little promo thing at the bottom, which stops that code from popping up, and it's highly annoying.
Bills Bengals is a 49.5.
Oh, come on. Really?
49.5. Okay.
All right.
So that's strike one. Take another shot at the top one.
Let's go with the Chiefs and the Broncos.
Okay, Chiefs, Broncos. Hold on. I'm confirming everything against the app now. That's strike 2. That's an over-under of 45.
Well, I mean, the Chiefs, or the Broncos are bad.
In the immortal words of Michael Irvin, yes, the Chiefs could score 45.
They could. They could.
That's a 13-point line. Oh, God. Oh, my God. Let the Broncos get out in front. Let the Broncos go up 10-0. Let that line shift to like Chiefs -3, and I'll just pour money onto it. All right, so you got one more strike.
Jeez, man. God. I mean, this team isn't good. It's not Jets. All right, let's go because it's a divisional game and because everyone thinks Kirk Cousins is good. Let's go with the Vikings Packers.
Vikings Packers is a 48.5.
Oh,
That is
come on.
strike
Wow.
3.
Rough week, man.
Rough week. The correct answer, and please don't punch a screen or anything when you hear this.
The Browns and Commanders.
No, it's Bears at Lions. Is a 52.
Okay.
I can't believe it either.
So wait, you're telling me that the Lions' run defense and the Bears' secondary are both equally terrible, so they're both going to score 30 points.
That's apparently, and the line is 6. So that's an anticipated 29-23
the Bears
final.
are 3-12.
I don't think the Bears can get to 23 points.
I mean, if
They're saying 29-23. I don't think the Bears get to 23 points ever in this life. So yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
All right. Now, what about so play it out? What about the under? I'll give you a couple. Oh wait, no, hold on.
Wait.
The line has shifted.
Oh no.
Since we started, and the game that was 39.5 when we started recording 30 minutes ago is now a 40.
Oh
so
my
there
God.
is no game under 40.
What
the game you would it was the Cowboys and Titans. Was an over under a 39.5 and has shifted to 40.
See, I was gonna say Patriots Dolphins.
I tell you exactly what that line is. Hold on. The lines are starting to get more conservative, I think. Patriots Dolphins, where are you? 43.
Yep, that's why you got to go with Cinch's theory to place bets early before lines move.
You always play you bet them when the lines come out or in game. That's it.
Yep.
Never wake up on a Sunday morning and do your sports betting. Never. If you don't do it by Thursday, you might even say by Wednesday, by the time we record. So,
I mean, unless you really want to wait for like injury reports. But
unless there's injuries in question, yes, absolutely. Injury reports change everything. But that's why you have in-game lines, and that's why I bet in-line. I put 90% of my betting money goes on games in progress. 90%. So the only time I don't is when I have like an SG, when I like a parlay I want to play or a round robin. That's it. Everything else is always in game. So, all right, let's move on to the metric. I'm telling you, my energy level's starting to falter. I can feel it already. You know what it is? Because I got a work email, and it's like my soul is being sucked out through my email. But all right. So metric this week, I took a look, and there's a lot of guys. There's 10 quarterbacks that are over the value line. The metric really likes Teddy Bridgewater, because he's at New England.
True.
He's only 5K because when the lines came out, the lines always come out like immediately after the games on Sunday. So Sunday night, the lines come out, and we don't know about the Tua injury yet. Now we know about the Tua injury, so the Teddy Bridgewater comes out at the backup line at 5K, at the higher end of the backup line, and he's probably going to score decent points against New England. But I'm actually going to look at, ready? I want Jared Goff this week. Jared Goff is only 5,600, and has got him slated for 19 points. That is a much better value, in my opinion, than risking on Teddy Bridgewater against New England. If Detroit is going to have to score 25 to 30 points to win that game, like the lines indicate, then I think that Goff is going to have a big day. What about you? What do you like this week in quarterback as a value?
So the two I'm looking at were going to be, actually one of them was going to be Jared Goff because he is playing the Bears. Mm-hmm. And the other one is, you know what? And my preseason prediction of a Packers-Bengals Super Bowl still can happen in theory.
Yep.
The Packers have been actually playing well again.
Mm-hmm.
They seem to actually figuring something out on their offense, and their defense decided to start playing.
Mm-hmm.
So, Aaron Rodgers at 6,000 probably be the most I would spend. I mean, maybe if you want to go over a little bit more, maybe Trevor Lawrence. He's 6,200. But I would stop. I would probably stop at 6,200 though.
I'm eyeing Dak Prescott at 6,300 as my chalk pick because Tennessee has been so bad.
They have been,
but have they been so bad that it's going to be a Zeke and Pollard game, and Dak is just going to throw for 180 yards and one touchdown and not have to even think about it? Yeah. That's possible.
What do you?
I love Goff.
What do you think if you had to pick between these two? What do you think between Mike White and Brock Purdy? because they're both
Oh
about
God, why?
5,500. If you
I
wanted
think
to
I'd
save
rather not
money,
bet. Yeah, I think I'd rather not bet. If I'm looking to save money, then I'm looking at Teddy Bridgewater. I mean, so Purdy's at 5,500, White's at 5,400, and Goff is at 56. So you're telling me I gotta be down. I need $200. The difference between Goff and White is $200.
mhm,
If I'm that tight, then I'm probably going Teddy Bridgewater. I'm going to avoid the
that's
Purdy
fair.
White discussion. I'm just going to go Bridgewater at 5K and save myself a little bit more money. But Goff is probably going to be my value pick.
Makes
So
sense.
running backs, the metric only likes one name this week, and it is Brian Robinson. He's 5,200. He's probably going to get more than a few rushing opportunities against Cleveland in what's probably going to be a very low-scoring game, in my opinion. That's a game to look at the under, but I've been wrong about that before when it comes to Washington too. So I love Brian Robinson. He's only 5,200. I like Najee Harris as well at 5,700. Baltimore is not doing a great job, in my opinion, against the run. If I'm paying up, it's Saquon because Indianapolis doesn't know what's going on anymore. But I'm definitely looking to use a couple shares of Brian Robinson if I can. Brian Robinson is probably my go-to for a running back this week at value. Who do you like this week at running back?
I do like Brian Robinson. I was hoping, before his incident, he was on
Mhm.
track to have a really good season. I mean, he still is now, all things
Yeah.
considered. Uh, AJ Dillon may be at 5,800. Yeah, possibly. But if we're going for cheap and value, I do like DeAndre Swift playing the Bears, especially if you're going to use Goff.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Because
DeAndre
he's at
Swift's
like
at 5,300.
5,300. Yep. So,
Yeah. What's his name's falling off the map? What's the other guy in Detroit? Now I'm drawing a blank on his name.
uh,
Jamal Williams.
yep.
Just fallen off of the edge of a cliff. And I was a big Jamal Williams guy. I've never been a big Swift guy. I was a big Williams
You
guy.
were. Yep.
I mean, if you're looking to spend up a little bit, you got Montgomery at 6,900. I don't think Chicago. I think Chicago is going to have to move away from the run in that game. Kenny Walker at 6,200, but it's against the Jets. Um, I'm done with Isaiah Pacheco. I can't figure him out from week to week. All he has to do.
Why do the Chiefs have a history of questionable running backs?
It's his fumbling. It's his fumbling. It's the same reason Sky Moore is not returning punts anymore. The Chiefs have a terrible time holding on to the ball, and it's been really really bad this year. And I can't with him anymore. Yeah, last week I was using Jerick McKinnon because I thought the doghouse effect in Kansas City would last over a week, and it didn't. Didn't they,
It's
they
a
were like,
good plan though.
we're gonna trot Pacheco out there. It's gonna be Pacheco all day long in a game that's not gonna no one's never gonna ever gonna be close. And I was just like, Jesus. So that cost me one game too. So all right, so let's move on. Wide receiver, the metric loves a guy named Greg Dortch in Arizona.
He had a good game
He
last
had
week.
one good game, and he's 3,000. So the metric is like, oh, you got to buy this guy. No, I'm going to go with a little bit more of stable picks. I'm looking at Elijah Moore. He's at 3,500. Seattle is woeful. I'd be shocked if Moore didn't get a touchdown in that game. Russell Gage. I don't mind putting Russell Gage in at 3,800 because if Brady targets him for one touchdown, he's got value. At 3,800, it's going to be 2x with one touchdown catch by itself. So I do like Gage. If I'm paying up, I can't afford Justin Jefferson at 9,500. I can't do it.
That's a
I
lot.
it's
That is a
way too much.
Has anyone ever been over 10 grand?
Yes. Christian McCaffrey has been over 10 grand at
That's
times.
true. That's true.
At times, I remember those specifically. So, you know who I would if I am going to spend up, you know who I'm looking at?
Who?
Cue my buddy Terry, who is not in the chat right now. I wish he was. Amon-Ra St. Brown at 7,800. If I'm
Yeah.
using Goff,
Get a little
it's
Detroit stack there. Yep.
it's a nice little Detroit stack. He just keeps getting better. He just keeps getting better. So, who do you like at wideout this week?
So for me this week, I do like actually either of the Jets receivers. Elijah Moore is cheaper; he's 5,300 because Garrett Wilson is
55.
55. Mike White throws to both of them, so I would my chalk receiver would be Amon-Ra St. Brown because he has gotten consistently better as the season has gone on. So I do have faith in him to get stats. I mean, if trying to. I was kind of gonna look at Dotson, but for 4,600 to save money, but I just don't know because Carson Wentz is starting.
What's Russell Wilson this week,
What is Russell
cost wise?
Wilson?
Yeah, how much is he? Where are you? 5,400? Because now that I'm looking at it, he's 5,400. He's going to be just under 3x. But you know who has something just tells me that the freaking Broncos are going to come out and air it out against the Chiefs because the Chiefs are okay against the run. They're average against the run, but they're terrible against the pass. And I'm looking at Jerry Jeudy at 6,400.
Hmm.
I might take a flyer on a Wilson Jeudy combo because they might just come out and try to flip off Nathaniel Hackett by throwing the ball all over the place. They might.
They might.
He didn't come out and throw Russ under the bus, but he threw Russ under the bus. Everyone is saying, "Well, Russell Wilson." You posted the joke quote yesterday. What was it? How am I supposed to coach a guy who has more bathrooms and touchdown passes?
Yeah.
You know, it's understandable. I think that they're going to try and fight this perception. I think Russell Wilson's going to try and fight this perception that he's done and try to shift the blame onto Hackett by just throwing everywhere. So I don't know. So there's part of me that wants to use Jerry Jeudy. It's against my Chiefs, so I probably won't. But I don't know. I keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on that. If you feel like that it's going to be a passing game, don't hesitate to go that way. Tight ends. I like Tyler Conklin because he's cheap, but he is so hit or miss. The metric does not have anybody over 3x, so this is an area I'm probably going to try and spend up. And one of the guys I'm going to definitely target is Evan Ingram. He has very quietly just shifted in Jacksonville. Jacksonville is on a massive winning streak. Ingram is getting more targets. I just love Ingram against Houston this week, so I'm probably going to pay up at 4,400 for Evan Ingram. Who do you like at tight end this week?
I do. I've been an Evan Ingram fan all year, and it's it paid off in fantasy. So I would look at Evan Ingram. I mean, he's playing Monday, so maybe if he is playing.
Oh, is it a Monday game?
Hayden Hurst is hurt. So, but he is 3,200.
Monday game is Cincinnati Buffalo, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, TJ Hawkinson, thank you very much for having the game of your life against me this week in fantasy. I don't think I would spend up for him at 5,400. That just seems like too much.
Way too high.
And just so everyone knows, don't use Mark Andrews if Lamar's not playing. Just throwing it out there. Just don't do it.
Yeah. Agreed. Defenses. Now, if you've saved money, and there's some really good values out there this week that we've discussed already. So if you save money, you could have your pick of defenses. They're all pretty close together this week. I don't see a ton. Like the Kansas City defense is expensive at 3,800. I think the most expensive defense on the slate. Cowboys are 3,800.
The Eagles are 4,000.
Yeah. All right. So I won't touch any of those. Honestly, I probably. You know who could have a really, really good week and is only 2,900 is the Niners.
Because they're playing the Raiders.
Because they're playing in Vegas at the Raiders, and the Raiders are just woeful. That's a game where you could use them and you could look at DFS and they're only worth 2 points at halftime, but then they end up plus 12 in the second half. Just because of the way the Raiders have been playing. So I'm probably going to have a fair few shares of the 49ers personally. What do you like this week?
Probably my top three would be the 49ers. They're, if you have the money to spend the 2,900 though, if not, probably the Packers or the Steelers.
Packers are good value.
Because the Steelers are playing Baltimore, and Baltimore is in like a tailspin. So.
Yeah, and they're 2,600. So if I need to save that extra $300, that's where I would go. But I mean, if I'm really in that situation, I'm probably did a really bad job up front. You know, Buffalo's very, very strong defense is only 2,500 because they're at Cincinnati, and Cincinnati is offensively everywhere. So I mean, there's a lot of matchups this week that.
And then maybe they're 2,800, but maybe the Jets versus Seattle because the Jets defense is pretty solid.
Like I'm looking at Rams-Chargers. That's a game that has a potential to be high scoring. Chargers have locked up their playoff spot. I don't think their position is still in flux. Everyone's position is still in flux. But they're going to the playoffs. The Rams are playing for pride. That has a chance to just be a very high scoring game. So I would want to stay away from that in general. I definitely don't want the Bears against Detroit. I would not touch the Colts. The Dolphins are too expensive at 3,500. Just looking at the bottom of the list now, I would not take the Seahawk defense against anybody. The Eagle defense against New Orleans, it's because they're 4K. They're 4,000. That's the reason why they're so low on my list.
Right.
Don't touch the Texans.
No.
Stay away from the Texans.
No. I knew when Pierce got hurt, my season was in trouble.
Stay away from Arizona, Atlanta. Stay away from Cleveland at Washington on both sides. Jacksonville's 3,600. They're interesting, but they're just very expensive. So that's the most I've spent time. Most time I've spent on defenses all year. So yeah, I think Niners is probably. I'm just gonna take the easy route and take the Niners. So, and believe it or not, Craig, we are just about out of time.
Sad.
Which is good because I need a nap.
You do. You probably do.
I need to answer this work email and I need to take a nap. So let's go to final thoughts. What do you got for me this week?
Final thoughts. I hope everyone had a good holiday and everyone has a very safe and happy New Year's, whatever you are doing.
Yes.
If anything, some people don't, and that's perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't believe it's almost the end of the season already. It's crazy.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's
crazy,
and that's where my final thought will go. Is obviously I want to echo our happy holiday thought from Craig, but. And the safety part of it too. Make sure you're safe out there, whatever you do this weekend. But for me, it's just the annual reminder. You're in the last week of the playoffs in fantasy, in most leagues. Most leagues don't play week 18. Some do, but if not, you're definitely into your playoffs, right? So you didn't make the playoffs. You didn't have the year you wanted to.
No.
That one guy you drafted that you thought was going to be great, just
DJ Moore.
What's that?
DJ Moore.
DJ Moore. AJ Brown disappointed you. Who else is a big bust this year? There's a couple of them out there. Who was hyped up like big time preseason that's a bust? Yeah, that's something to do an episode.
Yeah, we'll do a whole episode on that, yeah.
But either way, it just didn't happen for you. Now is the time to play DFS. Go into DFS, and the biggest mistake the average DFS player makes is not playing the free contests. Play the free contests. This week, with an extremely average lineup, I cashed in 2 free tournaments. Oh, you won $1.50. I did win $1.50, but I'm now taking that $1.50 and I'm parlaying it into a bet that I can make for real bigger money, and I can bankroll. I can bankroll it, and so all of a sudden, I've got put no money in, and yes, I only won $1.50, but now I can play more, and it didn't cost me anything. So definitely try out, even if you don't want to play DFS for money, go into the free pools and put something in. So another place you should put something in is in our review section. Whatever podcast directory you listen to us on, there's a place for you to leave us a review, and we really appreciate it. I want to speak specifically really quickly to the country of Malta. Malta, we have fallen out of your top 10 podcasts. This is unacceptable. You guys, we were ready to go there and do live shows and get everything. We need Malta to step up and rejoin us in the top 10
we miss you.
For podcasts. We miss you, Malta. So please, come on, stay with us. We love you. We want to be a part of that. So, but wherever you listen to us, whatever directory, please leave us a review. Contact us. I am not on Twitter anymore at all. I'm just done with Twitter. The whole politics end of it has just driven me completely. You're talking to a guy who suffered through and lasted through Trump, and I can't deal with Twitter right now. So, so you can reach out to us at Fignuts DFS on Twitter. Don't be shocked if you don't get a response because we're very little on Twitter right now. But you can reach out to us directly at our Gmail. We are fignutsdfs@gmail.com. And we're also on Facebook at the Football Fignuts Podcast. So, Craig, another year calendar-wise in the books.
That's right. Craziness.
I will see you Saturday for our Bro Year's Eve. All 4 of our contributors are attending.
What? Really?
Yep.
Oh,
I know. Everybody's going to be there. It's going to be the first time all 4. I can't. When was the last time all 4 of us were in a room outside of the draft?
That time we went to Dockside for lunch.
Okay, so like once or twice a year, we actually get all 4 of us in the same room. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. We should do that again.
We could.
Let's go to Dockside. We haven't been to Dockside in a while. Wasn't that preseason? Did we do a preseason meeting there?
It was hot out, so maybe.
Oh, it was hot. Oh my God, that's right.
Hot.
I got us. Oh, that's right. I got us on the porch because I didn't want to be in the blazing sun and
it was still hot.
And it was still freaking hot. I'm like, oh God, that's right. I forgot about that. So, all right. Anyway, we will see you guys next week. Until then, have a happy and healthy New Year. My name is Britt.
I'm Craig.
And we are the Football Fignuts Podcast.